If you got an Galaxy S4 Active and you bought one of these cheap Chinese TPU cases and you're having problems with the volume rocker pressing down on the volume buttons, creating erratic behavior, I'm going to show you how to kind of melt that out a little bit and fix it so you can use your TPU case. What you're going to need is some sort of low temperature heat source. I have done it with soldering iron on low, with either a rounded or kind of a plastic melting tip. This one works better. This one melts it so fast that it's easy to screw up your case. So I would recommend a broader surface area that's going to kind of act as a heat sink, and it's not going to heat up as fast. The other thing you could do is get a low temp soldering iron. Get the lowest wattage you can. This is a 10 watt soldering iron, and we'll just use that tip. If it's hot enough to melt hot glue, it's hot enough to melt TPU. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm just going to clean off all that old glue. You don't want that glue impregnating into the TPU and giving it a kind of a funny look. I've also I don't have any glue stick in there. There's just a little piece of one. So get that cleaned off as good as you can, and then we're just going to use the tip there to kind of push the volume out. You want to do it evenly, and you don't want to set the heat source in one place for too long. So what I'll do is I'll set it down in there. I'm just going to move it back and forth, just trying to get a nice uniform, even pressure. You gotta push on it. And the lower your temperature, or the lower your heat source, the longer it'll take, but it's better if you do it slowly rather than doing it really fast like it happens with the soldering iron. So this way you can kind of have some control over it, and you're not as likely to mess things up. So I'm just supporting the edges of the case, and I'm using the tip of the glue gun to kind of press the volume rocker out. And the TPU right there around the volume is so thin, it's not going to take a whole lot. And you don't want to go too deep or too fast, because you can mess it up. Just kind of pay special attention to the corners there. The corners are probably where you got the most pressure. Just take your time. When you feel like it's come out a little bit, go ahead and test it. And I'm using the S4 Active to make the video right now, but I'd go ahead and put the phone in there, make sure that I'd play with the edge of the case and play with the volume rockers, make sure they're not going up and down. Turn it off, see if I mess with the case here, if the flashlight turns on, if I have the flashlight with volume up setting on. But basically just keep testing it. If it still gives you trouble, come back in here and do it a little bit more, a little bit at a time. If you're doing it with the soldering iron, it's only going to take a second or two, but it's going to melt through that so fast that you're probably going to get an uneven look, and it's not going to be as attractive when it's done. Whereas with that, you can't even really tell I did anything, and there's probably more glue residue on there. So that's how you fix poor fitment of a case on a Samsung Galaxy S4 Active.